you sad all the time? Tired of lugging your exhausted, decaying body to and from work? Sounds like you need Magic Spoon! Get ready to revisit the breakfast of your long-gone youth. Magic Spoon tastes like the breakfast cereals you loved as a kid, but with 13 grams of protein, 0 sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs in each serving, you can feel good about eating it now! Magic Spoon cereal isn't just tasty, it's also gluten, wheat, and soy-free. It is unfortunately not guilt-free because nothing will ever absolve you from your sins. It's not just cereal. Magic Spoon's protein bars are an incredible pick-me-up when I'm on the go and looking for a boost of protein. So use code BREEDING or click the link in the description to try Magic Spoon cereal today and get $5 off. You can also find Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. Magic Spoon comes with a 100% happiness guarantee when you buy online. If you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link in the description to go to magicspoon.com/breeding or scan the QR code on the screen for $5 off.
Watch and explain all the Ring movies or you'll die in 7 days.
I totally forgot that shit was on.
I spent 4 hours on the internet.
Well, appropriately, these opening logos are kind of glitchy because like VHS tape.
What the heck is going on?
Oh, sorry. I guess I should explain this to my 0.2% of my audience that's Gen Alpha. A VHS is like a long horizontal TikTok video that you manually shove into your TV's mouth like a Zoloft.
Remarkable.
Also, a TV is like a really big iPad. You'd love it. You can't watch it while you're at the restaurant with your parents who don't want to talk to you, but it's still cool. It's very fun. The picture's very big. Just like I did 5 seconds ago, the screenwriter immediately tips his hand that he's a 30-year-old out-of-touch man when his teen character mentions that she hates
television.
Has any kid ever actually said the full word television? No way! We were all too busy shredding it up on our boards and eating za, you know?
All the molecules in our heads are all unstable. All the companies know about it, but they're not doing anything about it.
Awesome! Would you cut a scene where she's talking about buying the record that she heard on the FM radio? She's a narc.
It's a big conspiracy.
I guess the screenwriter dude is just a little out of his element, banging out dialogue between two uniformed schoolgirls, though to his credit, he did not write a, hey, you want to practice kissing scene?
And as soon as it's over, your phone rings. Someone knows you've watched it, and what they say is,
You're under arrest.
Sorry.
You're under arrest.
No, he wouldn't really hit his screenwriting groove until he wrote the scripts for Transformers 2 through 4, and then he absolutely frickin' peaked when he wrote Top Gun Maverick. He's way more comfortable with boy movies.
Thank you, sir. Wasn't a compliment.
I mean, to be fair, the writing is like, we're gonna blow up an airplane. General Man goes, yes.
And then this airplane shoots this airplane.
Yeah. But okay, turns out that the reason Katie here doesn't like television is because of science reasons.
You know, I heard there's so many magnetic waves traveling through the air because of the
television!
Also, speaking of television science, apparently this topless lady has 70% extra body. Which parts are extra?
You can pick something, I don't care.
The other girl is like, hey, what you're saying is stupid and boring.
Have you heard about this videotape that kills you when you watch it?
Quite the conversational whiplash. But no, seriously, you watch it, and then your phone rings, and a voice is like,
you will die in 7 days.
I'm really busy that day.
And then it calls back, and it asks if your refrigerator is running. It's very mean.
Who told you that?
And any normal 2000 teen would be like, no, I haven't. I've been too busy kissing boys, never forgetting, and growing my Tamagotchi, which has been challenging, because those are all wildly competing interests. But weirdly, Katie's actually like,
me and Josh, we saw it last weekend.
so romantic! Hey, how many days are in a...
Oh my God, Katie.
I'm just joshing.
You a freak!
I actually did hand stuff with my boyfriend.
You a hoe! Tell me now!
Or did I?
Like what?
Girl speak is so confusing when it's written by the writer of Transformers 2 through 4.
This is so lame.
They head downstairs and the television is haunted for a second.
Bye, Mom.
What are you doing with the television?
Katie heads back upstairs and is like, uh-oh, looks like Becca spilled some water or pissed herself again. God, the grudge vibes here are already thicker than a dehydrated schoolgirl's piss, I guess. But she opens the door and the television in her room is on and it's displaying weird artsy crap and she freaks out to almost certain death. This is like that time I went in Dave's room and saw him watching his video diary, except it didn't take me a whole last week to realize I'd made a life-changing mistake. It didn't take me 7 days. It took me about 7 seconds. I was like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cut to a kid drawing in school all by himself.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
His hot mommy
Call me Rachel.
busts in and is like, sorry I'm late, you know how it is. His teacher is like, don't I know it, hot mommy.
Rachel.
But hey, before you leave, I just wanted you to know that your son, Aiden, has been drawing weird-ass pictures of Katie's death since they were close. And as you know, she died 3 days ago during the cold open. But actually, Aiden's drawings predate her death.
What?
Nothing.
Anyway, have a great day. Don't be late again or I'll throw Aiden out the window.
By all means, take your time.
And man, times have changed. Nowadays, you bite your sandwich into the shape of a gun and you get suspended for 2 weeks. But back then, you could just sit around drawing snuff pictures and the teachers were like, your use of color is coming along nicely. Keep it up.
What's his cousin?
Bullshit. And okay, yes, her name is Rachel! This is hammered home, actually most often by her son.
I met Rachel.
Why does he refer to her by her first name? The movie never explains, but I have to assume it's because all the kids at school call her hot mommy, and he's like overcorrecting.
Hey.
What a hot mommy.
I'll wait in the car.
Although the very next day, he tricks her into coming out of her bedroom in her underwear by grabbing the dress that she wants and bringing it out into the common area. So, I don't know, Aiden's been through a lot recently, so maybe we'll just let him have some, lingerie Rachel time. We all deserve a little lingerie Rachel time on occasion when we're especially sad.
Have you got a moment, Miss Keller?
Oh, yeah! They head to Katie's funeral where it's revealed that she was officially killed by hell if I know, despite everybody doing like a ton of research.
I spent 4 hours on the internet.
You must be exhausted.
Now, 4 hours sounds like a lot, but this was 2002. She probably opened what, like 7 web pages tops? I'm sure youthemannowdog.com has tons of salient info.
I couldn't find one single case of a 16-year-old girl's heart just...
But also, what did the coroner or the medical examiner put on the death certificate? A drawing of a shrug?
I spoke to 3 different doctors and not one of them could tell me exactly what happened to my daughter.
You think she died of a broken heart?
I think they say that her heart gave out, but that's like saying he died from, I don't know, like his head blew up. Like what caused her organ to fail? Her Tamagotchi dying? Actually, that does kind of make sense.
I took good care of her.
But to be sure, Katie's mom needs Rachel to do a little digging.
I shovel very well.
It's what you do.
Because Rachel's a reporter, and ostensibly she's great at walking up to groups of teens and being like, haha, hey kids!
So who's in the mental hospital?
I used to smoke drugs when I was a kid. Do you guys ever do that? Did Katie ever do that? Did she just like boof it up real good?
I remember I was that age.
Or did she maybe watch creepy VHS tapes?
The one that kills you when you watch it.
All right.
Oh yeah, that sounds like the type of tape I might be thinking of. Apparently Katie was secretly dating a Josh.
It was kind of a secret. Kind of?
And for fun, they went to a cabin somewhere and watched an unmarked tape. And then she died and also appears to have partially melted. And then also the Josh maybe killed himself? Must have been another one of Dave's.
I haven't seen it, obviously.
Rachel also finds a scrapbook with everybody's face marked out, which makes more sense when you learn that this is all coming from an angry 16-year-old girl.
Quit being a bitch.
And a business card for a photo processing place.
What the heck is going on?
Oh my God, I'm sorry, Gen Alphas. Back in the day, when you wanted to take a picture of your balls and or butt, you had to do it with a thing called film, which is like this black plastic that captures your soul, and you had to take it to a place that makes the black plastic look like your balls and or butt. Sounds crazy, but also, nobody could hack it and send it to the entirety of human civilization, so that was nice.
Those are the pictures?
They're all over the news.
Those are balls.
What?
So she goes to get Katie's photos developed, but apparently this place sucks because everybody's faces are super blurred and stretched. She also soon learns that the other 2 people in the picture are also dead now at the exact same time as the first 2, and it's like, okay, that's crazy. Okay?
Yes, you are.
Rachel heads out to the secret hand stuff and murder tape cabin to immediately discover an entire Blockbuster's worth of VHS tapes.
Quite a selection.
No, Gen Alpha, I'm not gonna explain Blockbuster. Some things are just for us. Rachel grabs an unmarked tape that just screams, I will kill you if you watch me, and rents the hand stuff cabin to watch the tape. I don't know if she does hand stuff, but if she wanted to, it's a great cabin for it, I think.
That's why we bought tape players for hand stuff.
Unfortunately, it's mostly just random creepy shots.
You want to see the most beautiful thing I've ever filmed?
but at least it's only like 3 minutes long, which would now technically qualify as a YouTube short and would kill probably every single person under 25, because that algorithm's crazy. Then the phone rings and the voice says, 7 days. I don't think that movie was good enough to justify only having 7 more days to live. I mean, if it was my 3.5-hour Hellraiser video, sure. But this? No. Also, the phone call only says 7 days, which doesn't immediately make me think that, like, I'm gonna die in 7 days. You know how many creepy sounding prank calls people made before cell phones and caller ID were the norm? Also, what would happen if you watched the tape in a place without a telephone? Dave, is that why you keep pointing to me and mouthing soon? Day 1. Rachel begins the first day of the last of her life, letting her son make his own lunch and send himself to school.
I'm going to school.
While she wigs out in bed. Her life is literally too short and she's too hot to spend time worrying about what her dumb kid is gonna eat or do with his life. Some hot boy named Noah stops by and Rachel's like, look, my face now sucks in pictures too. And she explains and shows the tape and he's like, I don't know, this movie is kind of lame.
It was very student film.
Can we get some motorcycles?
Isn't that why I'm here?
4 kids are dead, Noah.
The talent I have.
While he watches, Rachel looks out at all of her lazy-ass neighbors watching TV and like, it's what, 9 a.m., you bums? Get a job, go to school, watch a tape that murders you. Do something with your life.
Roll credits.
The phone rings, ostensibly for Noah, but neither of them answer it, and he's not really worried about it, but if she wants to make a copy of the tape, then he'll inspect it somehow. Day 2, Noah watches the tape again and is like, okay, the time code or whatever is all screwy.
Can you pretend for 1 minute that I don't read Video Geek magazine?
That's the equivalent to being born with no fingerprints, which is impossible. And no, Dave, you can't just chew the time code off the tape like you did with your fingerprints. Ugh. They watch the tape some more and realize there's a bunch of extra tape to the sides that's only visible if you massage the tape super hard. Because before MCU post-credits, they made you earn that bonus scene shit.
Okay, keep
Sometimes
going.
it leads to very little. Seems like it's not worth it.
But not too hard, oh my God! Weird moment for Noah's sexy assistant to walk in.
My preferred partner in crime.
But it's fine, she's only in literally one other scene besides this one, so don't feel too bad for her. Death is only sad if it happens to somebody you know pretty well. So feel bad for Rachel and Noah, since they sort of have some angry history together.
You're angry.
I'm not angry.
Well, no, what are you then?
John C.
All right. Bye.
And also because they'll probably both be dead in like 5 days. That sucks for them, you know? I don't want to be dead in 5 days.
You don't need that.
Day 3, Rachel goes to visit Becca in the mental institution because her brain broke when Katie died and she's scared of televisions now. And all Becca really says is she'll show you in 4 days, which is not helpful.
Who will show me?
John C.
Thanks for nothing, Becca broke brain.
Name it.
Becca?
Becca. Becca.
Becca.
But also, what do people in horror movies expect to get from patients in mental hospitals? They're there for a reason.
No point really, unless you're talking
Crazy shit.
So Rachel goes to mess with the tape some more and discovers a lighthouse, and also that she can pull a fly out of the video somehow. And also her nose is bleeding, but for different reasons than Dave's does.
I do cocaine.
Weirdly, her next move isn't to try and splice DuckTales into the video and empty out Uncle Scrooge's money bag. Baby, that's free money, that's a dream.
It's not a liquid.
Day 4, it's book day. Let's get a whole stack of the most boring possible books.
What the heck is going on?
I know I said the last one was the last one, but I don't want to lose my Gen Alpha audience. So books are like Google if it actually gave you useful information. Anyway, one book reveals the location of the video lighthouse because I guess there's only like 12 lighthouses in America. So then she does actually do some Googling. Gen Alpha, Google used to be useful. Isn't that weird?
Yes, yes.
And the Googling reveals that the woman in the video is one
Anna Morgan.
Rachel then does some analog record searching and learns a bunch of horses kept killing themselves. And eventually Anna went nuts and did the thing I call leaving my Patreon.
Reader's suicide.
Because you'd have to be crazy to stop being a breeder, right? I mean, look at these kids. Now look at them without food. Oh, you monsters. I'm gonna pull a Rachel and draw all over your dumb face. Day 5, turns out Noah's face is all screwed up in security cam footage.
You're gonna die.
All right, well, keep that in mind.
And Rachel somehow actually drinks and then chokes out an entire cathode or electrode, the thing that you stick on your head when you're about to get shocked into forgetting all the horrible breeders who left you for greener Patreon pastures. And then a creepy wet girl grabs her arm and she has a vision and she wakes up in bed and learns that her dumbass son that she never pays any attention to also watched the tape. No! It's like, God, I haven't been watching you for days and you did something I wouldn't want. Oh, I'm gonna have to ignore you even harder as punishment.
Why, baby, why?
What? Well, actually, technically he watched the copy. And she again refuses to answer the phone, but then she does answer the phone. But it turns out to be Noah.
Rachel?
And she's like, watch the tape. Twist, Noah is also a parent, but somehow even more so. The parental neglect was coming from both inside and outside the house. Oh my God. Day 6. Let me explain, Aiden, why I, Noah, would be a dad. It's because I was young when you were born, and nobody young has ever had a baby and subsequently been a good dad.
It's a conundrum.
Aiden's like, damn, your logic is airtight. Thanks for abandoning me, Dad.
You wish I was around more?
No.
It would suck if you were a mediocre dad. I'd prefer you be an absent dad. Anyway, all that to say, thanks, Dad. And he's like, call me Noah. I don't think he actually says that.
Thing is,
I don't like you.
Now, Aiden, get out of the car so your mom and I can drive to Ghost Girl Horse Island to look for more clues.
Time to go, mister.
Don't get your hopes up that the shared experience will bring us closer together and reignite the passion we once had for each other. This ain't no Parent Trap.
Yeah.
One of us isn't coming back alive. I'm just gonna keep it real with you, kiddo. But anyway, we're leaving you here. I still don't want to spend time with you, even after all that I've shared with you. I'm a dad.
it's a talent I have.
On the ferry, Rachel calms her nerves by convincing a horse to commit breeder suicide.
Hey, you.
Turns out I'm not really any good with horses.
Ring transition! They split up. Noah goes to the mental institution to learn more about Anna's stay, but they're like, we're not gonna give you that information, you idiot. So he just breaks in and he looks anyway.
Jerk off.
He finds Anna's file, which has a little Japanese in it, as an unsubtle reference to the Japanese film This Is Rebooting, which always goes well. And by the way, Cezary did a little investigating here, and he says that the Japanese makes no sense. He could sort of make out the words body and maybe special secret, but a lot of the characters look wrong. He showed it to his Japanese wife. She has no idea what this was supposed to be. Also, he doesn't think they'd write Anna's name in the Latin alphabet. Now, you know, not every single thing about this movie is perfect.
I'm sorry.
The file also has some weird-ass ultrasound-looking pictures, but of like horses and needles, neither of which you should try to birth out any of your holes, in my professional medical opinion. Then Noah convinces a guy down there to show him a tape that upon first glance I was convinced was labeled Smosh, but it doesn't say that. Also, like Noah's paternal instincts, it's not there anyway.
Okay, now, man.
Bummer. I guess Noah learned literally nothing at all.
No shit. That's all it takes.
So I guess let's see what Rachel was doing while Noah didn't watch any old Smosh sketches. Turns out she's visiting the old Morgan homestead, which she recognizes from the tape that makes you die, and she goes up to Anna's husband, Mr. Morgan. Captain Morgan? Ugh.
Excuse me.
Captain.
You want to know about the horses?
And he seems to know about the tape.
Where'd you get that?
But then he kind of kicks her out of the house. So she wanders over to the island doctor, who I'm gonna assume prescribes marijuana for every ailment. I almost slipped into a Jamaican accent, but I don't know where we're at. I mean, Trump's the president. Are we allowed to do that again?
Maybe you'll get a pardon.
Yeah.
Only doctor on the island.
She reveals that the Morgans couldn't really have kids. But then one day they went on a trip and they came back with a kid named Samara who they claim they adopted. But like the doc says it in a way that makes you think that she definitely suspected them of kidnapping.
Adopted, they said. Never did say from where.
Yet in all those years, she did nothing about it. That's my kind of doctor. I think this kid's been abducted and trafficked. Sucks for her, I guess.
Do you know their daughter?
Do you know their daughter?
And to be fair, oh man, I have been on so many business trips where I can't think of a souvenir to grab my wife, so I just grab another baby. She loves babies. We have 3 souvenir children so far. I gotta catch them all. Join my Patreon so we can keep feeding them and not do what the Morgans did and become insane, and also the kid become insane and sent to a mental institution on the mainland where I have to assume she still lives today, but I'm not gonna follow up because again, I'm just an island doctor.
Some people have limits.
Big up the whole island.
I'm about vibes, okay? And let's just say after Samara left, the vibes around here, they got better. So I considered my work done, okay? If the vibes are bad, then I get involved. But if the vibes are good, man.
Show up with all the snorkeling equipment. I thought this was going to be a little more fun.
No offense, ma'am, but what the hell does that mean?
It means ever since that girl's been gone, things have been better.
Rachel is like, that was informative, if confusingly worded, so she heads back to Captain Morgan's land boat where she finds the actual Smosh tape, which shows Samara being real weird and skeptical of her daddy.
Your daddy loves you.
Daddy loves
And that actually does track for most of my souvenir children as well. They're always like, let me go back to my real family and let me out of your suitcase and speak of the daddy.
She was your daughter!
Figuratively.
My man's wandering around being like, my wife wasn't supposed to have a kid. And he's just stacking every electrical anything he could find in a super wet bathroom and breeder suiciding himself. It's sort of a metaphor for when you can't find anything good on Netflix, or in this case, a Blockbuster. Or I guess most in this case, when there's no good VHS tapes of like Speed or The Phantom Menace on the campground shelves. So instead you watch a movie that kills you. This is like a metaphor for that. I'm like, I can't find anything, so I'm just gonna throw my TV in the tub with me. You know how that is.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Noah shows up right at that exact moment. And they're pretty immediately over the whole thing, so they break into the barn to discover Samara was evidently raised in a pretty sick loft room with a whole home theater set up. And at today's market, I'm thinking this goes for easily $2,000 a month, not including utilities. I mean, Samara, why are you wasting time killing randos when you could have been killing noobs on Halo? Is that a CRT TV? Damn, no lag. She'd be ripping ass on Halo 3. They're like, this is a bad thing. But I'm like, man, I would have killed people with a tape of myself for a setup like this.
Not alone.
I guess this is as good a time to mention the time I got suspended in high school for making a tape that didn't kill anybody, but would, according to the assistant principal, sexually harass them. You remember that, Dave? Have I ever said it on this channel?
Should we keep it under wraps until you're pardoned officially from the rubber chicken sexual harassment incident?
All right, here's the overview. Basically, my friend was going to film like a promo. It was like Monty Mustang. We were the Monticello Mustangs. The guy was in the Mustang
horse outfit.
Yeah. And they were gonna go film, and I was like, oh, I wanna come. But what I didn't know was that it was a sting operation because the teacher thought he was a piece of shit and wanted to catch him on tape being bad. And what do you know? He was bad. He was like running into classrooms and stuff. So simultaneously, I brought along a rubber chicken, and we were like, ha, it's a cock. And we were throwing it at each other and stuff. We get back to the room, and she's like, give me the tape. And I'm like, destroy it! I didn't think it was that bad, but you know. Right. So then I went to school, or went to class, and then I got called to the assistant principal's office, and he's got us all sitting there, and he's like, do you know what's on that tape? I was like, I mean, vaguely. And he's like, you had a rubber chicken in your pants. I'm like, ha, right. He's like, and you called it your cock. I was like, yeah, right? It's pretty funny, because it's a rooster. And then he's like, and you're suspended for 3 days. And I was like, what? No! And then I walk out, my dad calls, he's like, you want to tell me anything? I was like, yeah, I got suspended for honestly the weirdest thing. He's like, sexual harassment is a weird thing? I was like, what? What do you mean? And then it turned out that it was sexual harassment if you had distributed it. It would have created a hostile environment. It was not that bad. I've never seen the tape, so maybe there was something horrible on there. But the thing is, my friend's mom came into school the next day, threatened to sue everyone. She'd read like the whole handbook and all this stuff. And so instead of that, they just bumped it down from sexual harassment to a mild insubordination. And we all got to come back to school, and the assistant principal had to write everybody a letter for their college recs, like recommendation letters.
Well, you also, it was like, your honor society?
Yeah, I got kicked out of every honor society still. I had to take all my finals. If you had a high enough grade in the class, you didn't have to take, but I had to. Some teachers were cool. They were like, that's the stupidest thing I've heard. You get an A. But some were like, well, it sounds like you're a pervert, so I guess you're gonna take the Spanish final. I was like, yo no soy pervert, pollo es pervert.
Oh, good Christ.
But anyway, they see a burned tree on the wood behind the wallpaper, and Rachel's like, oh, I know that tree. It's from the cabin I was at where they did hand stuff and you watch things that you died. A good thing it was only the one tree around that whole first cabin. So we gotta go back there. You'll love it there. The guy who runs the place.
That your card?
No.
Well, he sucks ass at magic.
Damn.
But it's fun to watch him try, so. No. Day 7. Weird question before we start this day, but how the hell did Becca hear about this tape exactly? She obviously didn't hear about it from Katie, and nobody that she knew was dead by that point. The girl at the beginning is like, I saw a tape and it made me die. And the other girl's like, oh my God, I've heard about that tape. It's crazy tape.
Yeah, that was a tape where there was a kid with a rubber chicken in the background.
That's it.
But no, now they're back and Noah spills a bunch of marbles. Which, do we think this cabin came with marbles? Do they have to pay extra for the marbles? Or did Noah bring a bunch of marbles in case they got bored on their last day of life?
Just use the time you have.
Again, another situation where no one is considering Halo as an option. I mean, if I'm gonna die in 7 days, I'm gonna get in a couple rounds.
There's a reason that we're here.
What?
But the marbles congregate around a big wet part of the floor, so Noah smashes the floor to reveal a well. Then the television starts leaking and screws in the floor come up and eventually bugs fly out of the well, transforming Noah into Bugman and knocking Rachel headfirst into the well to become, well, lady. Rachel's not dead though, so she has a flashback to Anna plastic bagging Samara and hucking her into the well during a very serious onset case of buyer's, possibly kidnapper's remorse. And she like lost the receipt.
All I ever wanted to make a return.
And when she closes the lid, it kind of makes like a ring of light, kind of.
She's still alive.
So yeah, it turns out that Anna sucks at murdering children with plastic bags. I mean, to be fair, that's not a skill that's easy to practice without drawing a lot of unwanted attention from enthusiasts of the craft like Dave. Dave's like, what are you practicing? Are you, oh my God, are you using Kittleman's technique?
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills that make me a nightmare for
Small children.
Whatever, Rachel finds Samara and she looks remarkably well preserved. Like, why did the ancient Egyptians fuss about freaking mummies when they could have just been chucking dudes into a well? Seems like about the same. Honestly, she looks better than a mummy. Oh, never mind. This scene would hit a lot harder if I believed that Rachel gave even half a shit about her own son. Hell, we're almost done with this movie, and I think I've said Aiden's name more than she has. Like, yes, she didn't smother him to death with a plastic bag and throw him down a well, but like that's true of probably like 85% of parents. You don't get points for not doing that. But anyway, the cops show up and Noah solemnly asks,
how long can you survive? I can't imagine being stuck down a well all alone like that.
He's like, I got a fun thought.
I got a fun and relevant.
I don't know why I'm thinking this. Sort of hit me out of nowhere. Hey, we're still actively exhuming the body of a dead girl. Can we wait? And Rachel's like, oh, definitely.
7 days.
Which is an even weirder thing to know. But okay, what if I fell in while holding like 30 hot dogs? I mean, there's already plenty of water in the well. Sure, it's been 24 years or something since she was hucked in, but if Samara had fallen in with enough hot dogs, I think she could still be alive. Like, what does she need? Like 200 hot dogs? 300 hot dogs? Somebody ask Reddit to do that math. How many hot dogs do you need to live for 24 years in a well?
I'll always walk around with 200 hot dogs in my cargo short.
Like 20 years. You got a lot of time. I fell in with a lot of hot dogs. They head back to wherever they left their goddamn son, and his neglected ass is literally sprawled out on the floor unconscious. And then we get 5 seconds of a shower scene, because I'm thinking that the director just wanted to see how a naked Naomi Watts might feel.
You don't feel naked?
Like, we may not use much of this shot, but we should shoot it just in case. Which is what Dave said to me during our The Grudge shoot. He's like, we may not need you to be dick out for 30 to 45 minutes, but let's just shoot it so we got it. Then Aiden is like, hey, whatever happened with that kid who was like haunting me? And Rachel's like, oh, I found her in a well. And Aiden's like,
you helped her?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
I mean, I don't know if I helped her per se. I was about 24 years and 300 hot dogs too late. But that said, whatever I did clearly worked because we're on like day 8 and I'm not dead. And Aiden's like,
don't you understand, Rachel?
Now she's untethered, probably, maybe. And she has a grudge, a ring, or I mean, go get you.
It tickles.
Ironically, the series is way clearer on Samara having an angry grudge against all of humanity than the one in The Grudge. Weird how that worked out. Because to be clear, Samara had the ability to etch thoughts into people's minds, like Aiden, her mom, and also horses, which is why everybody around her went crazy, presumably. She was like, I'm thinking of 300 hot dogs. And that just like sear into a horse's mind. So the horses would go kill themselves and then be used to make 300 hot dogs. An ironic twist of fate, a great ring of irony. And then she'd do it to her mom until she was like, I'm gonna have to kill this kid with a plastic bag. I can't be thinking about hot dogs anymore. It's just like, Also, that's what the horse ultrasounds were. She could also draw her thoughts onto physical objects, maybe? And something that they never actually explain in the movie or even hint at correctly, but is apparently the official version, is that Samara apparently telepathically projected her anger onto a blank VHS. Onto this VHS. Just like how Dave imprinted footage of him pooping for 37 minutes into the middle of my copy of The Phantom Menace. The movie is ruined for me. The whole pod race. Gone. And just like that, the television comes on in Noah's apartment and Samara literally climbs down out of the set like one of Avatar's greatest 3D scenes.
Stop doing that stuff around me. I always get wet.
And Rachel rushes over there to, I don't know, I guess beat Samara in the face with a baseball bat or something. But seriously, has anyone tried that? I'm not sure what her weakness is, but that tends to work on most children. But Rachel's too late. But hey, the sexy assistant is leaving? I thought she was originally dating Noah, but then Noah decided to get back together with Rachel, so why is she here? Does she still work for him? Why is she in exactly 2 shots in this movie, and why is one of them right now? I don't know. But Rachel rushes home and screams at Aiden.
Go to your room!
No! And smashes and burns the tape. But then realizes that the reason she was spared was not because she found Samara's corpse and tried to feed it hot dogs, but because she made a copy of the tape. Samara's tapes apparently literally work like those chain emails that are like, you need to forward this to someone or else the Prince of Nigeria will come and eat your luck or whatever.
Well, figure it.
Literally!
So she grabs the copy and forces Aiden to make another copy so that he'll be spared, maybe? Fuzz!
Don't forget the bonus short film. I'd lost the original case.
This is literally the worst you've ever done, dude.
Dude, I said that was my bad.
Yo, rings and circles and spirals, they're everywhere. Who cares?
Before we dive into The Ring 2, spelled out, there was actually a short film released as part of the DVD re-release. And this was just plopped on DVDs as a bonus? Like 300 hot dogs on the floating corpse of a well ghost?
They say no one's ever made it past 7.
They do not make like this anymore. But so anyway, what it depicts is sonic loads of rings. And people talking about how they're one of the rings, lords of them I assume.
9 rings were gifted to
These idiots.
Thank you.
And a dude named Jake is flipping out on day 7.
If nobody watches my tape, I'm gonna die.
And he's calling people and they're like, Jake,
You came to us.
just keep filming what's going on. I'm sure it's gonna be rad. Cut back to a week earlier when Jake watched the tape for the first time and a hot girl's like, oh man, thank you. You saved my life, which is so me. I save lives by watching videos too. I watch horrible movies so that others don't have to. Jake and I, we're the same. We're watching videos, we're kissing girls.
Thank you.
But then it's explained that they're all part of a ring. A ring.
All together, we make a ring.
Which is to say, they've been saving each other's lives by making copies of the tape and passing it to each other.
Timmy's your tail.
Now, I assume this is all relatively new, which is why they recruited Jake, but could you just pass it endlessly in a circle? Like, if you got enough friends, could you just each have a ring shift each year? Like a few pretty bad weeks, but at least you're not dead. Or better yet, do a group watch with like 50 people, and then, you team stomp Samara's slimy little ass when she comes for you all? Have like a watch party, and you all have guns, baseball bats? Unclear, but part of their deal is they're trying to understand what the hell is going on. So they've been filming their own experiences, seeing ladders that nobody sees and pulling endless flies out of the camera monitor. And I think that's it.
I thought there was a scary part.
I think the afterlife is mostly just full of invisible ladders and multiverse hopping flies and evil, psychically powerful dead girls. Where do I sign up? I want to die now. Turns out this isn't the only ring. And in fact, there's an entire online community detailing their experiences post-watch. And let me tell you, Jake is psyched about it. He even ring waves at strangers on the street like they're all members of Fight Club. He even wears a stupid promise to die ring on his middle finger.
Now, why would anyone want to stop?
He's totally ring-pilled. He's in his ring era, just living that ring cord life to the max. Yes. Except then one night, he watches a dude encounter Samara who, by the way, is majorly working overtime at this point. It's one thing to haunt a few people a week, but another entirely to haunt like an entire subreddit, especially when they're smart enough to mostly not even be killed about it. She's pulling Victorian-era child labor hours. Like, they make a big point that nobody has filmed a day 7 so far. There are just hundreds of people constantly edging Samara all over America. It's like popping out, dragging an invisible ladder everywhere to like put in people's way.
Bus ticket to Cincinnati.
God damn it! They're like, sorry, I already made a copy. Oh my God! But anyway, this particular haunting makes Jake flash into a liminal space where water goes sideways. And I gotta say, I want that shower. Sign up for my Patreon so I can pay a scientist to make one for me. But oh shit. He gets grabbed and he's like, whoa, I did not sign up for that. Dave, make a note for my scientist that I want my sideways shower to not have a creepy girl ghost that grabs me in it. I'm always worried that my shower scientist might put one in as a prank. I don't want it.
I never said it wasn't gonna be dangerous, okay?
But after all that, Jake goes to his ring to be like, okay, I'm out. This sucks as much ass as I do now. And they're like, my guy, it's like day 5. Chill out. We need information. Don't they have like an entire website full of that? What new thing are they hoping to learn?
Yo, rings and circles and spirals, they're everywhere. Who cares?
Don't say that. Please don't say that.
It'd be like me saying, I wonder what happens when someone eats a spoonful of cinnamon. Or, I wonder what happens when a sexy stepmommy gets stuck inside a laundry machine. We already know. We have tons of footage on Dave's hard drive. Dave is always showing me that video. He's like, hey, but you won't guess the end. I'm like, I've seen the end. She's very clean.
I haven't seen it, obviously.
But then Jake is like, whoa, I see a girl outside. And they're like, who?
Oh, shut up. Who?
Haven't you all already done this? Don't you have an entire internet community dedicated to this? You know who he's talking about. What are you talking about? She's like, wait, who? What'd you see? Who was it?
Is she still there?
I don't know. Later, Jake pukes out a massive bug and he's like, okay, that's it. I am not having fun anymore.
Let me in, you promised! You promised you want my tape!
He goes to his next in line ring bro to be like, okay, your turn. But the guy's like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
I can't watch that tape.
Breckenridge is like, oh yeah.
We're finally gonna see it day 7.
This is gonna roll.
Damn it!
But like, what do they expect to find out or see? They know that day 7 leads to death. It's on the news. It's on the subreddit, presumably. And also, couldn't they sacrifice some guy who deserved it, like the school bully or something? You cannot tell me that these kids are not getting bullied by at least one person.
I'm sorry, whoa.
At least Death Note starts with him killing bullies before veering into questionable targets.
You don't get to feel superior for being a pussy.
Are you kidding me?
So in desperation, Jake runs to like a Circuit City or something instead of hitting up literally anyone else from his ring forum. And he tries to put the tape on all the TVs to get everybody in there infected, which dick move.
Hey, get off me, man. Get off.
But he is stopped by a ringer cop or whatever, who is apparently part of the ring cult. He's got a ring tattoo implying that this thing is way bigger than we thought.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
And yet, they've still never found out what happens on day 7. They never found like a death row inmate or blackmailed someone into watching the tape without telling them what it is. What kind of shoddily operated secret organization is this? But I have to assume that Jake's not the only person to try this, and that's why Circuit City went bankrupt. Their TVs were all haunted, and all their customers died within a week of visiting the store. I mean, thank God there are only like 13 customers.
Circuit City, where service is state of the art.
They're all dead. All 13 of our customers are dead. We have to shut them all down.
Our entire customer base.
Never bring this here.
But so now an even more desperate Jake calls a cute girl from school who keeps hitting on him, but he's been ignoring in favor of learning about freaky dead girls.
Did you do anything cool this weekend?
He's like, hey, I want to date. So come over to my house so we can murder tape and chill.
I'm just asking for a little every time.
She's like, let me think about it. He's like, shit. And he has a whole nightmare about getting murdered while he diligently films it like a pro, which, okay, wow, that's so nice of him. Like, Jake has been betrayed by the ring cult and sacrificed to a demon girl, yet he still gives them exactly what they asked for. I'm gonna be honest, if it was me and I thought I was gonna die, I wouldn't be helping out the people who basically killed me. I'd have that camera pointed right at my butthole after a dozen cans of beans. Like, this is what happens on day 7, you assholes. But actually, that wasn't real, and Emily is coming over.
I'm on my way.
So it's actually gonna be totally fine. Like Dave always says, wine 'em, dine 'em, ring-a-fy 'em. It doesn't make much sense most of the time, but in these very specific scenarios, I'm like, oh, okay.
It really, really makes sense with these mountains of context.
Yeah, more than you know.
And they act like this is some huge dick move on Jake's part, and it is. But But also, he can help her make a copy to show somebody else in 7 days, and they don't need to pretend that they're documenting anything for science. Like Jake and everybody knows exactly how it works now. It shouldn't be that difficult to circumvent. It's not even that much effort for people who don't believe in it. Just be like, I know this is crazy, but watch this tape and make a copy, give it to a friend, no sweat. Well, I guess there is some sweat, or at least moistness. Is she gone?
I wanted to go get a hot dog. You keep watching, but I'll be back at some point, maybe.
Is it weird that I feel a little neglected?
I'm not your fucking mommy.
And we're back. Emily is finally over, so a significantly less sweaty and stressed Jake is like, watch this tape. It's okay. It's not 2 Girls, 1 Cup, because that hasn't even been made yet. Also, he kisses her, just like in 2 Girls, 1 Cup, ironically, even though he doesn't like her. Thankfully,
a buddy of mine actually turned me on.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, dude.
Which is what good buddies do for their friends who are forced to pretend that they like gorgeous women. So they could trick those women into watching copies of murder tapes that will kill them. I guess you could probably guess which of my buddies never does that for me, but does keep showing me 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Play the goddamn tape! Which of my friends does that, Dave?
Sorry.
Jake doesn't want to watch, I guess, and I'm sure it'll be fine. He only has a few minutes to transfer the ghost STD to another person. It's not like this is a literal matter of life and death for him.
It's perfectly safe to let our guard down.
Good. I was afraid you didn't believe me, man.
So he heads into the kitchen where his baby monitor ass phone rings and one of his turned on buddies is like, oh, sick, you're alive.
You got somebody to watch it.
And again, Jake mentions how much he hates Emily for the unforgivable sin of being attractive and into him.
Yeah, man. Some stupid chick from my school.
Which, to be fair, is actually a red flag on her part. Why would a girl like her like a guy like him unless she's secretly a sociopath or something?
Emily, what the hell did you do?
But then the buddy explains a lot of backstory stuff that would be weird for them to talk about considering all the things they went through in the short film. And also, didn't they basically condemn him to die? I don't know, it seems like a beef you'd hold on to. Dave still intentionally sucks at helping me make these videos as revenge for that time I threw out his weak old chalupa. Oh, and also, shouldn't Jake be filming something? He was very obliging before, but now he's gonna be rude? I guess that's his character arc. And oh, look at that! Emily didn't technically watch the movie.
I played it, I just didn't look.
Jake gets mad about this because it leads to his death. But that's on him. Don't celebrate before crossing the goal line. Also, I'm actually totally cool with this. If you guys just want to throw these videos on in the background and listen, like with your eyes closed because you're too scared, by all means. Honestly, if you watch them with your eyeballs, then I'll get fewer views because you'll be dead in 7 days and then you can't re-watch them. Not because the videos are haunted, it's because Dave gets jealous. Chalupa jealous. Everybody who watches these videos, Dave finds them.
That's right. Chalupa would actually, that would piss me off. That would like...
A week-old chalupa?
Yeah, man, it's properly stored.
Hey, look! Rachel and Aiden are moving into a new place, which is a good idea since the last place they lived was haunted and probably smelled like toilet water from that girl walking around all the time.
It was the right choice. No question.
Aiden takes photos now, and Rachel is like, your dead dad would be so proud.
Those are great, honey. Got a really good eye.
But I doubt it. Dude did not give a shit about Aiden. It was a total AV geek, so he'd probably destroy Aiden over his choice of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. I hate that you're my son. And also, it's too dark. The image is too dark. Bump up the ISO.
It's working out great, don't you think?
Aiden continues to call her Rachel.
You know, it wouldn't kill you to call me Mom now and again.
It might. I mean, a little.
But this is now going to become an important plot point instead of just a weird thing that happens for no reason. Oh, and to be clear, Aiden.
We didn't do anything wrong.
And of course, she only means copying a tape so that somebody else will die instead of them, which sure, no biggie. But what's morally unacceptable is the fact that she basically created a new subculture of internet dweebs, which is reprehensible. It's one thing to get somebody killed. It's another thing to give Reddit more power. Except for Patreon subscribers, of course, who are all brilliant and they have fantastic genitals of all sizes and tightness. That's a subculture worth keeping.
I got a big, tight penis.
Good a reason as any.
Rachel has a new job as an astorian? A historian of asses? She get a doctorate on derrieres? Oh no, she's still a reporter. She's just in the small town of Astoria, which coincidentally has a history of producing great asses. For example, Del Bjork. I mean, look at the Bjorker on that. That's a boy butt.
Well, you don't have a doctorate in asses, obviously.
Please, we should be so lucky.
Rachel soon learns of Jake's death and is like, that sounds weirdly like the time my cousin and then ex-husband died.
They keep on talking about his penis.
What about his
2 penis?
penis! So she heads over, breaks into the ambulance to see, yeah, Jake. He's looking rough. Also, who the hell is watching Aiden right now? Am I crazy to think that he's too young to be constantly abandoned all the time, especially in a new town?
It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
I told you last night, no!
But Rachel's grabbed. And I guess Samara is still coming after her, but why? This goes against the lore set up by the first movie, right? Could Samara just change your mind? Unclear. But Rachel breaks into the house via fake key rock, and is this why she and Noah shacked up? Their mutual love of breaking into places?
He'd be proud of
Anyway, she grabs the tape and burns it in the woods. And for a second, I was like, whoa, 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 burning down the entire town isn't necessarily better than a couple kids getting picked off by a ghost. But fortunately, she found like a very safe, very convenient hobo barrel to burn the tape in, so it's fine. The tape does kind of scream, which is upsetting. I don't want to imagine that VHS tapes can feel pain. I mean, I know the people on Dave's secret VHS tapes can feel pain, but not the tapes themselves. Do they also feel lonely that I haven't watched them in years? Oh, I should go check in on the Phantom Menace and see how he's doing. But then again, there's a 37-minute long poop scene in the middle of it, so.
Fast forward through.
Back at Rachel's house, her neglected and abandoned son notices the TV flips on and goes to inspect it when he should definitely know not to do that, idiot. He gets sucked into the TV harder than when I was watching Better Call Saul. Oh my God, so addicting, superb writing.
Go land crabs.
That's on you, Aiden. You deserve to be sucked and make that face I make whenever a video doesn't perform to my expectations. But actually, Aiden wakes up. It was just a dream. Probably. Rachel walks in and says what I've always wished Naomi Watts would say to me.
Let's get you out of these clothes.
And she asks if Aiden had a bad dream, but
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Then he goes outside to blink 10,000 times and watch fully clothed children play in a sprinkler in the middle of like November. You know, normal kid things. They're like, look, I don't know what kids do, okay? I'm a director. I'm not a genius. Just get some kids to jump through the sprinkler. Fully clothed. It's November. They gotta wear coats. I'm not a maniac.
It's so cold. It's really cold.
They head to a farmer's market / antique market, even though Rachel thinks it's bullshit.
Who do you think buys this crap?
Besides this marble stand that Noah would have just loved. Aiden wanders off and Rachel looks for him for a while. And let me just say that this movie would be way better if this kid could emote even just a tiny bit.
I'm just a little cold.
Like the Terminator is Leonardo DiCaprio to you, kid.
What's going on? Are you sick?
I couldn't care less if he died, and I'm a father of 3. It takes almost nothing to get me invested in the plight of a child. But this one? Oh, suck him into the TV. See if I give a shit. Speaking of shit, Samara is horrifyingly in the men's room. Oh, she must be a communist leftist socialist ghost. Only communist girl ghosts haunt boy bathrooms. DEI, CRT.
Come to try something else with me.
Okay, to be fair to this kid, he may suck at acting, but apparently he's a literal genius who was admitted to UCLA at age 13, graduated as valedictorian, and then was accepted to Harvard Law School at 18. It sucks he wasted so much of his youth ruining these movies when he could have been out there, I don't know, like suing people. Hello, Rachel. My mother. Just sue something, damn it.
Ghost court.
Okay, cut.
Anyway, on the way home, they're attacked by a ton of deer. Why? Buddy, nobody knows. Was it getting revenge for the suicide horse from the last movie? This is one of those movies where things just kind of happen and they
don't stop.
And then they don't stop coming.
Oh, except when the deer do stop attacking and let them go, which I think is a metaphor for motherhood. Why are the deer attacking? What have I said that would make you think deer would attack? I mean, unless somebody's imprinting the image of 300 hot dogs into these deer's brain, but I don't think that's happening.
Random.
Later that night, Aiden's temperature drops to 93 degrees.
It's impossible.
And the power dies, and all his pet fish die, both of which are extremely possible. And then Samara's scratching around, except, oh, it's actually Aiden, and a tree burns into the wall, which I don't think is possible, unless this is a secret grudge house. I don't know, I'm starting to think that this kid might be getting entered by a dead girl. I don't like that.
What are you doing over there?
I don't care how smart he is. He shouldn't be getting entered by dead girls at his age.
I have pop-up in the attic.
What? Get back in bed right now.
Naturally, Rachel rushes Aiden to the hospital. Oh wait, no, sorry, to the office. She's like, oh my God, 93 degrees, I'm gonna go to work.
It's not a fever, so it's...
I think if it's cold, it's fine. Am I right on that? It doesn't matter, I'm gonna go to the office. Where she throws him on the couch while he offers up a bit of random ass lore.
She hears everything, except when we sleep.
Sure, why not? I'll take your word for it, kid. If we're just making up, she can't see me when I'm playing PlayStation 3. So I'm gonna go do that, and again, leave you here at the office.
Good luck.
Good luck. Glad you know things. Then this guy, Max, is there, and
I am Max.
he's like, why don't you guys just come to my house? And Rachel's like, perfect, man I just met. I'm gonna leave my vulnerable child naked in your tub.
Come on, honey. Let's go. Let's go.
While I go home to grab some things so we can leave town, since TVs and VHS tapes obviously only exist in Oregon. We're gonna go to one of the other parts of the country. She then again says what I've always wished Naomi Watts would say to me.
Do you want me to get in with you? Yes, please.
It's cold in here. My internal temperature is 93 degrees. But as soon as she leaves, Aiden locks the door and starts leaking everywhere. Rachel returns just in time to kind of look like she's drowning Aiden. But actually, she was drowning a girl inside of Aiden, okay? But also maybe trying to drown him too. I mean, he is a wiener kid and she sucks at parenting, regardless of whether he's like possessed. And Max is like, I'm gonna take him to the hospital.
I'm gonna get you better. We're gonna get you to a hospital.
No! But he doesn't call the cops because I think that means he likes Rachel. It's kind of flirty.
You asked for my help, you're gonna get my help, and he gets to a hospital, Rachel.
Should we have sex?
At the hospital, Rachel shows Max Aiden's camera where he appears to be haunted and tries to explain what's going on with Samara.
She wants to be here, and she wants to live.
But how the hell does she know that? Also, that's assuming a lot considering Aiden's life appears to objectively suck. He's got no dad, a mom who's never home, 0 friends, he's haunted, and he lives in Oregon. Surely there's some other kid who owns a PS3 and lives nearby Disney World more worth entering? Aiden doesn't want to live his life. He's like trying to kill himself by TV. He's seeing TVs flick on, he's like, I'm just gonna shove my head in there. I know that's literally where the ghost girl comes out of, but I don't care.
Why is she doing this to me?
I don't know, but as sleeping, Aiden grabs Rachel's arm and gives her a bunch of visions that admittedly aren't very helpful. But then a lady doctor busts in.
I'm a psychiatrist.
Wait, what?
And she subtly implies that Rachel has been hurting Aiden because she had postpartum depression 12 years ago for 1 month, which feels, I don't know. Yeah, I read on your file that you were sad 12 years ago for about 30 days, so you're probably abusive.
It's very common. I mean, a lot of women
kill children.
She sucks for a lot of reasons, but that's not, well, she did just try to drown him, I guess.
What does this have to do with what's going on with my son right now?
But because of this, she won't let Rachel be alone with Aiden any longer. And Rachel's like, joke's on you. I hate spending time with my stupid son. You dumb bitch. This was what I was trying to make happen. I planted that in my file so that you'd say, oh no, I can't hang out with my son. Guess I'll leave. I want to be here. I do, so badly. But you're saying I have to go.
Packing your bags. Boy, I wish I could stay with my son.
Whom I love.
You need to leave.
Yes! Vacation time!
So she's like, I'm instead gonna do what I do best and wander around, following clues, breaking into random places, and learning things while my son does God knows what, all by himself or in the care of strangers. I'd say thanks for saving me the babysitter money, but I've literally never used a babysitter. I just leave him naked in tubs with random men at work. It's pretty cheap.
Shouldn't he be in a hospital?
No, he's fine.
First stop, the adoption agency that facilitated Samara's transfer to the Morgans. All she learns is, yeah.
Samara Morgan was adopted, yes.
F***ing knew it.
So then she heads to the Morgan homestead.
Whoa! Look out.
And weirdly, it's been sold, and the real estate agent is cagey and claims that he thinks the previous couple moved to Phoenix, which is an atypical but surprisingly apt euphemism for hell.
Welcome to Phoenix.
Although how does that work? Like if everybody who owns a house kills themselves and their heirs, does it automatically revert back to the bank? I actually don't know, and obviously I'm too lazy to look it up, but I do think it's interesting.
Gotta get that lawyer kid on the case.
Oh my God, you know who would know? He would not like how I've portrayed him in this film though.
It won't stop.
Samara's parents were old, so I just assumed they bought their house in like 30 acres of land in 1950 for $12 and some lint that they found in their pocket. There's no next of kin. Otherwise, that's who Rachel would talk to, presumably. So this guy's just selling it under false pretenses.
I believe they bought a condo in Phoenix.
Really?
But is that how it works? That's what they should have spent the $17 million DVD short money to explain. Not really, I don't care.
Really?
I don't know, but Rachel goes into the basement and finds, firstly, a bunch of antlers, because deer. And again, it's never actually explained, but maybe Samara is making deer kill themselves with hot dog images now? I mean, since she made the horses kill themselves last time, and they don't want to just do the same thing twice, now it's deer. God, I hope in the next movie she like makes sloths think about hot dogs. Is that an escalation? Because, I mean, deer are smaller than horses. It feels like it's actually going... Oh, you're going down. It's going down. Yeah, it should have been elephants. Then it's blue whales. I can't die. It's trying to drown itself. It's like, well, I guess it could. Yeah. They just gotta put a cork in their blowhole.
That's the saddest image I have.
Ooh. Anyway, they gotta really stretch that runtime in sloths. I mean, a sloth's attack, that would take a while. Anyway, she also finds an apparent scrapbook from Samara's mother that points Rachel to a sort of women's shelter where they're like, yeah, the mother, Evelyn, showed up here like super pregnant, but after the baby was born, she got kind of weird and kind of tried to drown her kid. Thankfully, they were able to stop her because even though Samara mostly never cried, she would raise hell anytime anybody tried to bathe her. So they heard it, And also, isn't that crazy? Because Dave also never bathes, makes weird videos, and has also had up to 3 different mommies try to kill him at one point or another? I ain't counting, I guess.
Half the mothers that come to us say that.
Any day now, another mommy's gonna show up and try and throw Dave into a tub or wrap a bag around his head or like hide all his spaghetti so he starves. Your life is crazy, dude.
All babies are a challenge.
From there, Rachel heads to the psych ward to meet with...
Evelyn's expecting you.
Oh, well, yeah. Evelyn is mostly like, okay, here's the deal. The dead never sleep. So I guess they're pissed at us saying rest in peace all the time because they're like, that's pretty offensive. I can't. And also, they're just always watching for a way back. And the whole reason I tried to kill my baby, says Evelyn, was because my baby asked to be killed. And so my advice to you is to kill your baby when your baby asks.
You have to send it back.
That makes no sense to me, but also in every other movie ever made, this would be considered bad advice. But in this movie, that's like just the thing that Rach needed to hear. But also, I feel like she wouldn't need that much convincing to try and drown Aiden. She literally has already tried. If any of my viewers have been debating whether they should or should not do something like this, I hope this is the push you need. This is like the only movie I've ever seen where they're like, you know the voice telling you to kill your baby? Just listen.
Don't let him stop you.
Also, okay, so the way I understand this, Samara was, as a baby, somehow infiltrated by a dead person. And so does Samara even have any sort of identity? Or is it like Laya in Dune, where she's an abomination with somebody else's fully formed mind competing with her unformed one, causing a complete lack of personal identity? Even with that, how does a baby know how to beg for their own death to exorcise the dead person living inside of them? And also, is the baby hoping to go become dead so then maybe it can come back the other way and infiltrate a different baby who isn't already infiltrated? That's not a good cycle. You can't have dead babies crawling inside other dead babies in an endless loop. But also, you're their parent, not their friend. You can't just go doing everything they want. You have to set boundaries. If your baby's like, I want to die and then be reincarnated in another baby, you have to say, no, I'm the parent. You don't get as much screen time as you want, and you don't get to infiltrate dead babies. I say that to my kids every night.
Let the dead get in.
Hey, speaking of weird babies, Aiden has woken up and says,
where's my mommy?
Which would be sweet with 99% of children, but is a huge red flag for this little weirdo. This would be like Dave using salad dressing on like a salad. Aiden's clearly fully possessed, and he somehow manages to force the therapist to inject herself with a syringe, which is a bit of a quiet kill for Samara. Is she in her demure phase? Gen Alpha, thanks for watching. That feels like a new weird out of nowhere power, but also Aiden is a girl now, and women can be very persuasive.
Yes.
Also, he escapes the hospital to break back into his house to watch TV static because I guess he's never heard of Disney Channel original movies.
Cable's set up at my house. The TV needs to be on channel 3.
Shredded.
You're the man, Bree.
And Max shows up, fixes the TV, and is like,
I was just gonna take a picture of you.
Like that's the most normal thing in the world. But Aiden is like, please don't do that, because he/she knows that Samara will show up in the shot somehow via ghost happenings. And Max is like, totally fine with me. And then he clearly sets the self-timer, which Aiden immediately notices.
So Aiden, what's the story?
Hey kid, hey sport, where's your mom? You wanna take pictures? No. I'm just checking you for ghosts. Rachel shows up soon after, and Aiden again red flags all over her.
I'm here, mommy.
Also, Max is dead in his truck, which is another, even redder flag. So I guess between this and the therapist, we're fully no longer playing by the 7-day limit. Samara can just kill whoever she wants, whenever she wants. Ah, ooh, that's cool. Thrilling.
It wasn't.
Rachel is so thrilled, in fact, she goes back inside and falls asleep.
Shh. Just keep sleeping, Rachel.
Shredded.
And in her sleepiness, she's able to talk to the real Aiden because, again, obviously, Samara can't hear them in their sleep.
So she can't hear us.
That's just common everyday ghost physics rules.
It's the only way.
And as expected, Aiden's like, you gotta kill me in the bathtub because Samara hates getting murdered in water. And if you do that, then she'll leave us alone. And also, don't put any hot dogs in there because it won't work. Because I'll just eat the hot dog. You can't kill me.
She won't stay if she knows you'll kill me.
So she does what I do to get Dave out of my house and drugs the ever-loving out of a PB&J. That's the only way I can get him out. Another PB&J? Thanks, man.
Honestly, this is going so great, but I just think there was a little loss of energy on that last take. Maybe try one more.
Because, like, how else will she get this literally sleepless demon to fall asleep?
I never sleep.
And let mommy make you something.
Cocaine.
Although on that, are demons affected by drugs? Could she just get Aiden to smoke a joint so Samara will chill out for a bit? Where's the island doctor?
The whole island.
It's worth considering because at least these drugs work, I guess, and Rachel drowns her son, causing Samara to bust out of his face and be like, shake my head. I really thought you could be the mommy for me. Samara's really more disappointed than anything. Oh, also, Aiden didn't die.
Great,
yeah.
So I think the elevated horror metaphor here is sometimes you need to almost murder your children so they stop watching too much TV and also so they stop murdering people. I think it's like a pro-spanking allegory, or maybe it's pro-child waterboarding. Either way, corporal punishment is A-okay, at least if your child is demon-possessed, which you can only find out by talking to them in your dreams after drugging them to sleep because they ate a drug PB&J. My God, I'm learning so much about parenting from this movie. You can also take photos of them to maybe see it.
Breathe.
But actually, Samara isn't finished.
She wants me again.
Nobody wants you, okay?
She probably heard that Aiden had a real bright future in law and wants to ride that brain all the way to the House of Representatives where she can legally kill people and get paid. But Rachel realizes, hey, wait.
All she wants is a mother, so take me.
I mean, is that true? Because again, is Samara even the person doing the possessing, or is the person who possessed Samara when she was a baby doing this Aiden possession? Or is the person that possessed Samara also just wanting a mother too? Because if so, maybe she shouldn't have told Evelyn to kill her, or maybe when Samara died, the first dead person left, but that still left Samara herself as a dead person, though finally untethered. And for the first time ever, she got to decide what she wanted in life, which here means a mom who didn't try to kill her for once, except then also this mom that already literally just tried to drown her once is the best option she can find. Are there no other less drowny mommies in the world? Or at least, like, even just Oregon surely has one mommy who doesn't drown. Rachel's the best mommy. Is that what I'm supposed to take away from this movie? It's getting complicated as shit.
Come on, come back.
Who cares? Rachel gets sucked back into the well and is forced to Dark Knight Returns her way out, which is complicated by Samara grudging her way up the side of the well as well, but it seems to do the trick. Rachel closes the well top on Samara so she can't escape the dream well because dream wells, invincible ghost girl's only weakness. We got him. And then Rachel says what Naomi Watts has actually said to me on multiple occasions.
I'm not your mommy.
It stings every time. It hurts. Then Rachel wanders around until she realizes the only way to free herself from this dream world is to kill herself. Because of course it is.
Suicide is badass.
I guess it is a win-win for her. Either she returns to the real world or she dies and never has to see Aiden ever again. Rachel wakes up IRL and Aiden finally calls her mommy, but for real, not just because a ghost girl like hiding inside of his butthole told him to.
I love you, mommy.
But she's like,
just call me Rachel.
I'm not your mommy.
Because that's what's called a character arc. A character ring, even. And the twist! There's no twist.
At least for a while.
Movie's over. Thanks for coming. Hope you internalized a lot of really great lessons about how to be a good parent. Bye. Bye-bye now. See ya. Oh, say hey to the kids. I'm going to drown them.
Please, we should be so lucky.
Apparently, like, thousands of people have watched your haunted-ass video, and they are all sharing their experiences, and, like, a lot of dick pics.
Show me. I'm gonna watch this one. You watch another one.
Okay. Should I just set it up?
Get out of here. Yeah,
Do you want me to come back later.
We live a while, eat, have sex.
The production stinger title card thing is on a headrest TV on an airplane? Oh my God, this is next level. The ring is officially in the future, baby. Oh, I'm sorry, rings. It's plural in the future too. And because Rings was also the title of the short film from 2005, the future is also the past, meaning that the present is in the future and the past is the present.
Life sucks when you can't sleep.
This guy here is nervous because the future is wild and planes make no sense.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And the girl next to him is like, hey, want to talk about something to calm you down? And he says, sure.
You ever hear about the videotape that kills you after you watch it?
I watched it a week ago. Oh, gotta go.
Sorry.
And he books it to the bathroom to presumably puke everything he's ever eaten. And like, she's cute, but get it together, man. She even thinks you're cute.
That cute guy sitting right next to us, it turns out he's a total head case.
Which for the record, I'm still very into.
But the girl next to her is like, wait, he talked about a movie that killed you?
What movie?
Leprechaun Back to the Hood? Hellraiser Revelations? Jason Takes Manhattan? Spit it out!
Some video.
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg present A Land Before Time.
And it's hilarious that she knows exactly what the friend is talking about, but also feels the need to ask which movie. Like there are multiple movies that will kill you if you watch them.
Okay.
No, she means literally, not spiritually. The concerned friend runs to the back of the plane and is like,
did you make a copy of it?
And he says, no, it's 2017. The Mummy remake came out. Patriots defeated the Falcons. There was a solar eclipse. I've been way too busy to be copying videos.
Did you make a copy of the tape?
No, I forgot.
Suddenly there's turbulence. And look, I'm just gonna say it. This is all TSA's fault. We still gotta take off our shoes and x-ray our junk, but you can't spot a sweaty dude talking about murder videos? Somebody needs to do the hard thing and beat this man to death with a bag of complimentary peanuts. Like, where the hell is the air marshal?
We handle shit.
Well, this dude takes the whole plane down with him since sometimes Samara can't aim well and just destroys the entire general area you're in, apparently. But also, I thought that Samara can inject visions directly into people's brains, and those who haven't seen the tape can't see shit like her imaginary ladders, so there really is no need to down the entire plane. Like, from all the other passengers' perspective, it would be like the guy just had a freak out and died of a heart attack. I feel like she's just being unnecessarily cruel.
Do not go in there.
Ugh, brutal. But now it's 2 years later, and somebody is selling that dead dude's old VHS player and tapes at a flea market.
Turns out that he got all this stuff from my family. His son died in a plane crash a couple years back.
Great.
Yeah. Which is kind of an apt metaphor for the making of this sequel. This girl isn't interested, but this guy is interested.
Once upon a time, this was a technological revolution.
So he takes the player home only to discover an evil tape inside. Or maybe it's a sex tape, or it's both if it's Dave's tape. Roll the dice, my man, just see what's on there.
Here to see what's down the hole?
Oh, also the disinterested girl is there, but she's leaving. And she calls him professor because I guess they're doing a secret Big Bang thing, which is legal, but frowned upon in college. Which really is what college is for. Legal, but frowned upon experiences.
Maybe you can tell me about it later.
Professor here is like, I would kill myself. I will literally die in a week if I didn't watch a sex tape. So he pops her in and he watches our usual weirdness and then watches a fly crawl out of his joint and the water outside is going in the wrong direction.
Man, this is some good shit.
Now, I'm not a well doctor, probably not well in general. But what does water going the wrong direction have to do with being trapped in a well? Like, I get the bugs and the looking like a waterlogged turd from hell, but water going up? Don't you need a bucket for that? Shouldn't they be haunted by buckets? I don't know, but he gets the call, so I guess he's toast regardless.
Buckets.
What? Who is? Why would water go the wrong direction? It still falls on you if it's dripping from the thing, or it's just sitting there. Maybe like water's going up because you're falling down. In the short film, it's going sideways. I'm like, have you seen a well? Did you do no research? Did you throw no children in a well with a camera and have them film it? Cut from there to a hot girl and a hot boy. Can I make it any more obvious? Discussing just the most romantic stories ever.
I once saw a baby give another baby a tattoo. They were very drunk.
No, it's about this guy, Orpheus.
And as a former English major, I can confirm this happens every day if you pay attention during
9th grade English lit.
That's why I have 3 children. Greek mythology. Support my Patreon so I can buy more mythologies and use that arcane, powerful, sexy knowledge to make more children. Hercules had 7 labors. Breedings can get to 8.
It's like the most romantic story in the history of stories.
No, Hot Boy's alarm goes off at 7:07? What sort of psychopath sets their alarm for 7:07? Either he's like one of those TikTok bros where his life is like optimized to the second. I do 7 push-ups. I eat 302 calories. I wake up at 7:07.
Instead of working,
I once bit into a burrito and there was a child chewing it.
So what's your point?
Also, what sort of disengaged parent lets their son's 18-year-old girlfriend spend the night at your house? I know some of you don't see a problem with it, but I'll just say keep your kids away from my kids until after they get to college, where Holt is headed today, by the way.
Come on, Holt. Supposed to be on the road an hour ago.
Steve-O! And if one of my kids says,
I'm gonna miss your smell,
and then your kid rips off their shirt in the middle of the street, I'm gonna rip the liner of their ass. Consider your children warned.
You're doing the right thing.
Again, you gotta set boundaries with your kids. No asking me to drown you, no asking me to help you get laid in my house.
Did they screen her for ghosts?
Yeah, I didn't see her dad drown her like I do to my children every morning, just in case. I tell them it's a bath, but I hold them down for a long time.
You did not just say that.
Anyway, now it's 6 weeks later, and boy, time sure does fly in this movie, unlike the airplane from the opening.
Oh, baby, it's been 6 weeks. I can't take it.
I'm busted.
And the girlfriend, Julia, tries to do some strip Skyping, but Holt is dragged away by some extremely unchill bros. And now it's several, even more days later, and Holt won't respond to any messages, choosing instead to bang her in her dreams with several extra hands.
Steve-O!
It's not enough to make up for it, but it helps. She does receive a call from some janky-faced woman who is seemingly trying to find Holt herself, and Julia's like, okay, I'm driving to Holt's college to figure out what is going on here. And more importantly, to see if he actually has those bonus hands, because I have ideas for them.
I seen a hooker eat a tire.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. What's next?
I seen a blind guy bite a police horse.
Kinda uninspiring.
And I know we said I needed to take a gap year to take care of my budget-saving, off-screen mother who has debilitating, unseen issues, but Holt is more important than my dumb, imaginary mom.
Your mom, she really needs you right now.
That bitch is dead.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, queen, go get that dick, girl. Slay, queen. Your mom's not even real. I have a problem. I cannot show you, but know that it deepens my character for me to have it. So she breaks into his dorm like a girl boss and finds his phone and steals some random keys, clearly establishing her as our new Naomi Watts. Naomi Watts, she loves to break into stuff. This girl loves to break into stuff. And now she heads to Holt's scheduled bio class. And boy, let me tell you, I can see why that student was doing legal but frowned upon Big Bang theories with this professor. I mean, he sits on tables.
This is big, guys.
And he talks about how he gets drunk and how he has sex.
When there's no need to take notes on that part.
Oh, he's cool as shit.
Which may account for the fact that I've become significantly sweatier.
God, I'm about to do something legal but frowned upon if you don't hold me back, Dave. What? No, God! Have you had that gun this whole time? I was kidding!
Sorry.
Basically every movie where it's like a cool teacher, they like sit on the desk. And they're like, have you guys ever smoked a pot? It's like, whoa, Professor Sexy Cool Danger. Look out.
Wait. Hold on, because no one is denying that we have 2 penises.
Julia confronts cool-ass sex-having, probably high professor, but he's like, Holt? Never heard of him. That didn't work.
Yeah. Not sure.
He's probably cheating on you. Goodbye.
My advice to you, move on.
But Julia doesn't buy it, so she follows the professor to a secret 7th floor that can only be accessed with the key that she stole because this movie was written by video game level instructions. On said 7th floor is a whole ass lounge with tons of students and also a book detailing the Samara Enigma. And it's immediately clear that they're doing the thing from the short film and studying what happens when you watch the tape and assigning tails to each other who will watch a copy of the tape so that nobody dies. And that's where the phrase "get some tail" comes from, because if you don't get some tail, you will die. Oh, I love etymology.
You don't have much time. You need to trust me.
Should we have sex?
But like, how long has this been going on? Couldn't be more than like 6 weeks, right? Like, how does the professor have a whole paper published on this? He even knows Samara's name, which isn't something you'd get by watching the tape. I suppose there's a lot of information on this phenomenon out there by now, but it just seems like things are moving a little fast. It's a little fast for me.
You're being ridiculous.
I can feel her.
It's all changing.
Speaking of, the girl with the weird Skype face is worried because she doesn't currently have a tail, and she's running out of time. Professor tells her to make a copy and he'll send somebody ASAP, but when she leaves, Julia tails her, confronts her,
Look at me.
and ends up inside her apartment. Holt texts this other girl and is like, new number, who dis? And Julia texts him back like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, Julia, hey, what's up? Oh my God, don't watch the tape. And I think it's very weird that she doesn't just call him immediately. Is that phobia really so ingrained? It's weird for them to frantically text in this moment. Like, what emojis accurately convey the danger here? Oh my God, don't watch the tape, you will die, and a girl will crawl out and crawl up inside of your ass. And she's just like watching, ... She's like, I hope this isn't serious. I hope I'm not in imminent danger.
You're lying.
The girl is like, hey, you should really watch this tape. It is really good. But Julia instead runs into a room and locks the door in case the tape was like a bootleg of the Mummy reboot. So the girl is murdered by Samara.
What are you doing with the television?
Then Julia leaves, but needs the girl's keys to do so. Like, the lock is inside of her apartment, as in she's locked herself in, sort of. But also, hey, here's Holt. Steve-O! And also the apparent tail. Who showed up way late.
I was supposed to watch a video.
Too late.
15 years too late.
In the aftermath of this chick's death, everybody drops out of the program, naturally.
Everyone's dropping out. What? No.
But Holt's like, hey, that's less than ideal because I'm only 12 hours behind her. And if nobody watches this tape, I'll die. The professor is like, oh my God, you guys are so whiny. I don't need this shit, okay? I've got tenure. Whatever, I'll do my best. God.
Just stay where you are.
Cannot believe you are all dropping my class just because one of you died. But that night, Julia opens his computer and watches a .mov version of the video to save him because it's all been explained to her now, more or less.
I know, it sounds crazy, but...
It's like the anime fan edit.
Yeah, it's like Linkin Park Meteora, Dragon Ball Z, AMV. RIP, best quality. And I get that the quality of .mov is pretty good, but also the original Samara tape was grainy and shitty. Quality does not matter. You want that file compressed so it can be shared more easily. You gotta go .mp4, my dudes. .mov is too much. Spread curses smarter. They're trying to WeTransfer it to people. It's like, I'm sorry, it's too big. And they're like,
why is it so hard?
I tried Dropbox and I tried Google Drive. None of this works. Anyway, Julia has a weird vision and gets burned by the phone once it calls because suddenly she answers phone calls.
Wow. I mean, that's hot.
And she's hallucinating and also being stupid. Which are two separate but bad things. She is hallucinating and she is dumb. She does not hallucinate being dumb. That part's real. Holt worries this is happening faster than usual. So does that mean that short attention spans are even affecting the ring?
I never do any work.
They go to visit the professor who is like, all I'm trying to do is prove the existence of souls. But I've now realized that watching a video that kills you is a little dangerous. Regardless, they're like, well, Julia, you should copy the tape now. And maybe tomorrow we can kidnap a freshman or something and make them watch it and pretend it's a hazing thing. Oh no!
Your file size is larger than the original.
That's apparently
a video within a video.
You know, because of computers, the ghosts.
But there's more.
Julia watches this new secret video within the other video by herself, and she's asked to describe it to the boys, but embarrasses herself by not knowing the word Ouroboros.
Jules?
I don't know.
Professor's like, wow, that's a different video. And Julia's like, yeah, I know, I saw a church.
I saw this.
That's where they buried her.
Because apparently the horse island where she was last alive didn't want her, and a local priest in this random town wanted to do the nice thing and bury this random dead girl's body in his town.
Oh God, I fancy a priest.
That's where we need to go.
And none of that makes any sense to me. So instead, what I would like is a courtroom drama surrounding how all of those frickin' decisions were made. Like, if you're a priest, can you just order a dead body for your parish? Like, who handles that? Amazon? DoorDash?
All those fees, they better.
You live in a world where DoorDash can
burn the body.
Regardless, they gotta go there and then maybe burn her remains because the professor is like,
primitive cultures believe that the only way to free a soul is to burn the body.
DoorDash.
And they're like, I mean, if it's good enough for primitive people, sounds like we got a plan. To be fair, fire is the opposite of wet. Primitive people knew that. Though, if this backfires and Samara makes fire her whole thing, this could just end up with her popping out of like Netflix Yule log videos instead, which would massively expand her reach. She's like, actually, I'm into fire now. I pop out of fire things. I don't pop out of wet things. And they're like, oh my God, we've made a horrible mistake.
Every Christmas is just a massacre.
But whatever, Professor hands over his research papers before heading to turn himself into the cops for the death of his student lover. But like, what are they gonna charge him with? Accidental video curse-icide?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like an occupational hazard getting killed by a wet ghost if you're like studying that kind of stuff, right?
They're like, I'm sorry, she knew the risks.
You know, it's like a geologist getting crushed by a rock.
But the cops don't deal in such ambiguities.
Meanwhile, Holt and Julia drive, and Julia does some light recap that retcons some of the previously established lore. She claims that Samara was
found abandoned as a young child.
Which isn't exactly true, right? Like, Evelyn is a known person and is potentially still in the mental institution right now? Like, we've met her mom.
No one knew where she came from or who her parents were.
Her name was Evelyn. I solved a case.
I don't know. Now they're at a bed and breakfast, and they are definitely gonna have sex in it.
2 rooms?
1.
Oh, yeah, Daddy!
It's an old house. Walls are thin.
Oh, on the side of the road, Julia saw some pregnant ghost lady and sees her again here in a picture and asks who it is.
Oh, that's Evelyn.
She disappeared a bunch of years ago.
Wait, what?
And yeah, that's the same name as Samara's mom. So has the story changed or not?
Raise your hand if life ever let you down.
Approximately once a month if I stay on top of things. More often if a tumor appears on my wife's appendix.
Don't let it kill you.
I'm trying not to. Join my Patreon so I don't die. Been good times here at the old breeding castle. They explored the church and surrounding area instead of each other's young bodies and learned that actually there was a flood 13 years ago when Ring 2 came out, and it sort of unearthed Samara's body, so they reburied her in a random field somewhere else because the townspeople were pretty sure that the flood was her dead fault and they wanted her gone. And I gotta say, I did not know that the laws regarding the burial of dead little girl bodies were so loose. Corpse floated out, put it in a field. None of that stops Holt and Julia from literally smashing into Samara's now empty grave and experiencing hallucinations.
Do not go in there.
A random guy with a dog shows up and takes them to a blind guy who's apparently in charge of the area and who is like, nah, you don't need to take them to the cops.
No. Don't bother the sheriff.
Who amongst us hasn't robbed a grave or two in our time? Robbing graves is like a college experience in that it's frowned upon, but I guess it's different in the sense that it's definitely super illegal. It's not that much like college, but it is frowned upon. That's like college.
That's new.
They're invited in to chat, and Julia mentions,
I saw a vision.
Which is a little insensitive, don't you think? Don't you think, Julia? This guy can't see shit.
And then I went blind.
Sorry, I missed something. I think he said he went blind after the flood because the town was basically cursed. And anyway, Samara's now buried north of town somewhere because, again, the exact location of a corpse, it doesn't really matter. It's up north. I don't know. We put the body somewhere. I don't know why you being such a stickler about these rules. Burial is all about the journey, not the destination.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be.
They leave, and Julia says what Dave says to me literally every day before we start filming.
We gotta find the body.
It's gone, man. Stop worrying about it. But their road trip is cut short because of an accident. Julia sees Evelyn, though, so she goes to talk to her, but instead realizes, oh, Professor is in one of the crashed cars, and he's looking rough. Turns out he had earlier determined the burn on Julia's hand was actually a word in Braille, and because Holt literally never answers his goddamn phone in this movie.
Come on, pick up.
This is Holt. You know what to do.
The professor decided to drive all the way to tell them what the mark means. Although, okay, firstly, does he not have Julia's number? And secondly, could he not also have texted what the word was in this case? It's the ultimate, this meeting could have been an email or a text. I don't know, but he crashed his damn car. Well, it's okay now because he's trying to tell Julia what it means. But actually, it's not okay. And Julia's like,
we need to go back.
Sure, why not? Why anything? Holt leaves her in the bed and breakfast to ask important, valuable questions of the owner lady at the local diner.
So, what is that? Chicken or steak?
And Julia leaves to inspect the church again. And it's always funny to me in movies how many times people try to pull open closed doors. Like, it's locked. All locked doors, they work basically the same. You either need more force or a key or a rock. Yeah, that'll do it. Let the Naomi Watts flow through you. That's why rocks are called nature's keys. They're always like, kunk, 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 kunk. Thought it was just right at the edge. If I just gave it more push. But no. Julia soon discovers a secret floor door that leads to a secret wet room where she realizes, oh shit, Evelyn was kidnapped by the priest and brought down here after he impregnated her. Wow. 3 FBI frowned upon things back to back. They act like this is some huge twist that Evelyn is Samara's mom, but like, if I've watched the last 2 movies, I already know that. And if I haven't, who gives a shit? We don't know anything about Samara herself, other than that's the name of the creepy girl who so far has crawled out of exactly one TV and needs soap. I guess maybe the twist is that Evelyn being held prisoner by the priest is sort of what made Samara evil, but I thought we all agreed that Samara was evil because as a baby she was possessed by a ghost. And I thought that was a perfectly logical explanation. And speaking of insane twists, the blind guy was the priest.
Although he isn't a priest anymore. Not since he went gay.
This is something that Holt learns, but Julia, inexplicably, is like, I need to go talk to that blind guy. He seemed cool. Man, I wish I had some big, strong, sexy, non-blind boyfriend to talk things over with, but this guy will have to do. She's like, I discovered something horrible. I'm gonna go tell this random guy.
Mr. Burke!
Julia soon realizes he's evil though, and is like, teacup attack. But I mean, is it that painful? It's a teacup. No! I know you're blind and you were surprised, but still. Miraculously, he recovers from his horrific teacup beating, flips all the lights off, and villain monologues a little more backstory about, yeah, actually he blinded himself.
Samara can't hurt me because I can't see her.
Which again, goes against everything from the first movie about her burning images into your mind. People who go blind later in life are still able to see things in their mind. Third The Ring movie. Do you not care about science? But regardless, Samara's been talking to all sorts of people about how they should come save her, and in fact, Julia is only the 12th so far. Which, okay, Matrix Reloaded much?
The function of the One is now to return to the source, allowing a temporary dissemination of the code you carry.
I don't understand. Is he just putting all their bodies up north? I guess when you can't watch TV,
you gotta find something.
Will not! Then the blind guy falls down the stairs and dies. Which is just one of the many reasons I suggest not blinding yourself on purpose. It makes this kind of thing way more likely. Julia continues to wander and does what she always does when she's not sure what to do next.
I'm gonna wreck it!
She finds Samara bones tucked behind the wall, so okay, yeah, all right. So he buried her in his own wall. I thought everywhere that you buried the body, there was like a curse. Like this town flooded, the other island had bad vibes and horses kept killing themselves. But he has it buried in his house? I mean, I know he's struggling, which is why he blinded himself, but it's still like, shouldn't the whole town be haunted? I don't know. Holt shows up, but the priest isn't fully dead yet. He attacks Julia, and you all are having way too much trouble fighting a blind guy. He's not Matt Murdock, but actually Samara crawls out of Julia's open iPhone and kills him. They burn Samara's body, which is yet another frowned upon definite crime, but primitive people are super into it. So they head back to bang each other at Holt's parents' house. While Julia showers and peels off a bunch of her disgusting hand skins, like your ass girlfriend peeled herself all over the bathroom again. Dad, we're in love. But anyway, Holt finally notices the professor's voicemail, and he braille translates Julia's mark to mean rebirth, which, I mean, it wouldn't really be all that big of a reveal. I mean, obviously it turns out that Julia is Samara now somehow because that's how horror movies end. It's also literally how the Mummy remake ended. This is apparently a thing in horror in 2017. But say they translated that braille 2 days ago. What do you do with that? Oh my God, rebirth? That's what's on my hand. I guess we'd better not set the corpse of this dead girl who haunts people via VHS tapes converted to .mov files on fire. Like none of this makes any sense. And translating inexplicably braille burn marks that say rebirth isn't gonna clear anything up for you. They're not gonna not burn the body. The primitive people told them it's the only way. The only thing that'll make things simpler is if we roll credits and agree to never talk about this ever again.
No, 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 no.
What does that have to do with horses? No, Gen Alpha doesn't deserve to know. They're like out there f***ing their dune buckets or whatever.
Yeah, I would never do that.